really good crowd of y'all. Okay, let me get going formally here. On behalf of the Doughboy Foundation, welcome to Bells of Peace on Zoom. This is the Eastern Time Zone edition. We're going to be doing this for each time zone, including for Alaska and Hawaii. I'm Teo Mayer. I'm the Chief Technologist for the U.S. World War I Centennial Commission and the Doughboy Foundation. Now, some of you met Kathy on the way in. She helped us come in here. We're both really happy you could join us today. We have a good program for you that's going to start in a few minutes. As you may know, Bells of Peace started in 2018 as a part of the 100-year anniversary of the World War I armistice. And it's evolving into an annual remembrance for those who served in World War I at the moment when the guns fell silent and the bells tolled on the Western Front on the 11th day of the 11th month at the 11th hour in 1918, after years of brutal combat. People are always asking me, what is the Doughboy Foundation? So I thought I'd explain it for a moment. It's the nonprofit organization that's been working hand in glove with the U.S. World War I Centennial Commission since 2013 to commemorate the centennial of World War I and to create the National World War I Memorial. It's also going to continue on, even after the congressional created commission sunsets in 2024, the Doughboy Foundation is going to carry on the mission to keep faith with the Doughboys and to take a stewardship role in the memorial. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But most important thing today is your participation in Bells of Peace. After the tolling, we're going to have a moment of silence where and after that, we'd like to invite you to participate directly. The question we'd like you to speak to is, why is it important to you to remember those who served? Honoring our veterans is a very personal experience, but people do like to talk about it. So if you'd like to share your thoughts with the group today, it'd be very meaningful. We'll tell you more about exactly how to do that as we get there. So welcome. We're going to start the commemoration program, and please stand by.
At the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, the guns fell silent on the Western Front, bringing an end to the First World War. Our nation has recalled that moment on this day through the decades. Now, 100 years later, we gather here today to remember lives sacrificed in the service of our country and those traumatized and injured in battle. We also remember and pay tribute to our 28th Commander-in-Chief, President Woodrow Wilson, whose final resting place is here at the Washington National Cathedral. May we have such a devotion to justice and freedom that the heroism of all who fought may continue to be remembered in a nation of service and in a world of peace. We gather this day to glorify God who sustains the world, to remember with thanksgiving those who lived and died in the service of our country, and to ask God's help and blessings that we may be worthy of their sacrifice each day of our lives.
We'll now observe a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, this is the part where we'd like to open some mics and have you all share some thoughts on why you think remembering our veterans is especially important to you. Just go under the reaction tab at the bottom menu and select a hand wave or a thumbs up or something. And Kathy will be looking for you to invite you to unmute your mic. Kathy's checking now. Kathy, is anybody there?
I don't see anyone yet. This can also be a moment where you mention a family member's name.
Oh, I see somebody, Richard Richard. I'm going to ask you to unmute, Richard. Richard, I think you're unmuted.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, well, all of my relatives immigrated from Europe in 1910. My Belgian grandmother's family left so her brothers wouldn't get killed in the war. And my mother's parents came from Galicia, which was part of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. And I'm not aware of any, we had no American relatives, so none of them fought for the United States. But my father and his twin brother were born November 28th, 1918, during the height of the pandemic, and they joined the Naval Reserves in 1935, and both were at Pearl Harbor when the Japanese attacked. So essentially, that's my connection. That's why I'm interested in World War I, because it's, I mean, if my relatives hadn't come here, I wouldn't be here. So anyway, that's my report.
Well, it's true that most people have a family tradition of service. It happens a lot. Let's see if, Russell, I'm going to open up Russell. You're going to get an invitation to unmute.
All right. I just think we need to remember our veterans for everything that they have done, you know, what we still do today. My grandfather was a World War I veteran, drove an ambulance in France. But every Farrington member has been part of the military since the inception of our country. So from the revolution to today, my son, who just recently discharged, has served in the military in one way or another. I'm just...
Richard, I think we may have lost you, but thank you. Again, you know, that what we've noticed with people participating is that it is very, very constant that people, once a family starts in service, it just sort of continues. Let's take a quick look, see if there's anybody else who has any comments. Oh, Karen, I see you raise your hand physically. Stand by. There you go. Karen Nellinger. Okay. Karen, you're still muted. I think you, oops, I'm asked you to unmute and oops, I'm clicking it. There you go.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. So happy Veterans Day to everybody. And I can share one thing, and that is my grandfather was in World War I. And he served in the Navy. He was stationed at Rochester, New York on the Navy ships.
Well, Karen, you know, for all of you all, if you're curious, we're going to be sending you to a website shortly, but we do have a free World War I genealogy research guide that you all can use. Really a wonderful 100-page book written by Deborah Dudek that will help you dig further into your family's background and history. And when we give you the website to go to and so forth, you'll find it there. I think you'll some of you may enjoy that. Ethan Myers just raised his hand. I'm sorry, Kathy. Janet, can you find her and unmute her?
Yes, hold on.
And Ethan, I will keep you on standby.
Hi. Do you have me on? Can you hear my voice?
Yes, you're on,
Hi.
Janet.
Okay.
Can you pin her? Janet, let me find you so I can bring your video up.
Oh dear.
Oh, there you are. There you go, Janet. Great.
Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up. Is that this moment?
There you go. Welcome.
So I hope this isn't too long. I'll try to shorten it up. My granddad was with the 1-6 Marines in St. Mihiel. My great uncle was at Belleau Wood with the 3-5 Marines.
Wow.
My other great uncle fought for the Canadians and was wounded in Arras, France. My other great uncle was a chaplain with California's Finest. He was an Irish priest who went to California and was at Meuse, Argonne. And so I have a long and a list of my family. And I was fortunate enough because when there was the big fire in St. Louis, all of the records, I think you all remember this in the 70s, the Marine records were not there. I was able to get full Marine records for my granddad, my great uncle. I was able to get the Canadian records up in Canada from my great uncle who fought, because he was still an Irish citizen and went over, registered in Minnesota, which was what they did. And then they went up and fought with the Canadians. And so I was very fortunate to be able to get that. Since that time, every generation of my family has been in service. My two sons-in-law, the only two sons I have, both are Iraq War veterans. I'm very interested in World War I particularly. And I have, if I can show one fabulous photo, if you don't mind, of my granddad, would that be okay?
Are you going to hold it up, or
I'm going to hold it up.
Please.
Can I do that?
Of course.
This is let me see if I can get it up properly for you. This is at the World War I Museum. My granddad's on the far, I'm not sure, is it your left? This was in 1920 in Pennsylvania, Aliquippa, the first Veterans Day parade he was allowed to be in because he was stayed on during the occupation in Germany. So he didn't get home until August of 1919. And he's with a Civil War vet and a Spanish-American War vet. And I have the names of all of those people. So that's my granddad in his uniform. It's one of my favorite pictures. We were fortunate to have pictures from when he was overseas. So I have just a strong, and maybe because I grew up in a generation where all our dads were in World War II. Yeah. And I think that's different than it is now for kids, that they don't have those communal experience like that. Because less and less people are, in military, which I'm very much an anti-war person. So I appreciate that at that level. But anyway, I'm very proud, and I've done a lot of research. I've been very lucky to be able to do that. And I appreciate this very much today. It's just delightful. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me get to Ethan here. And Ethan, I've just sent you a share.
Awesome. So I attend Virginia Tech. I'm 19 years old. I currently attend Virginia Tech, and it is incredible to see the impact World War I and the Doughboys have had on this university in particular. Virginia Tech was founded in 1872 as a military university, and the first major war that its students participated in, all the officers that had graduated, was World War I, and there's a huge memorial. We have a big drill field in the middle of campus. And at the end, there's a huge memorial that we call the pylons, with a bunch of pillars going down either side and the names of everyone who fought in World War I. And then after World War II, the names from World War II were added. So it's a daily reminder to me every time I walk across campus. that of just how much I owe to these veterans who served their country. And even then, like I said, I'm 19 years old, so I just voted in this past election for the first time. And as we had our moment of silence, I was just thinking about how that's only possible because of these people who fought. I owe them, my freedom and my choice in who governs our country. So.
Thank you, Ethan. Really wonderful to hear from multiple generations. We're out of time. We're doing 6 of these today, so we're going to have to wrap it up and get ready for the next time zone. So we wanted to thank you all for participating today in our Bells of Peace Zoom. Bells of Peace, a World War I Remembrance is one of the programs being supported by the Doughboy Foundation. To learn more and to find that guide, that genealogy guide, please go to doughboy.org. Easy to remember, doughboy.org, and learn more about the foundation's work and how you can support their programs. I want to thank you for remembering the veterans of World War I, of remembering all veterans today. I'm Teo Mayer with Kathy Abbott. It's been our pleasure to host you on this very fine Veterans Day. Stay well. Stay safe, and so long.